Excuse me. Hey, folks. Monday night. I already did one video, but I stuffed it up because I got my information wrong, basically. So after some more research, see how long this light was. This is 13 years old from 2011. This is a it's HSP brand Chinese Nitro methanol. I think it is 110 scale. I looked it up because I remember having the body for it. Well, I wasn't sure if it was for this. I'll tell you in a moment why. Basically, I scrounged this last year, and with a monster truck of the same brand. This is what's left of the monster truck because it was pretty badly damaged. So I just took it apart because there's no way I could sell it. I was going to sell this on eBay, but then I realized there was something wrong. Can you see what it is? Well, what's wrong is this front end doesn't belong onto this style. This is actually called a destroyer. Yeah, destroyer. But it's pronounced destroyer. It has an I. So it has at the end T-R-I-E-R instead of O-Y. But anyway, yeah, so, and it's called a rally monster, not a monster truck, this particular one, because it's for rallying, which means I measured these at 90 mils in diameter, and the color of the wheels and style let me know what they are. And by googling and using Yantek's search engine, I discovered that this chassis is 334 mils long, or 34 centimeters long, and it has the configuration for a gas engine, glow plug engine. But this is off that monster truck, I suspect, or something similar, which means this is supposed to be a forward drive, but they've taken all the axles out of it so that it's not. What they should have done is turn it into a front wheel drive for rallying, because, as you know, the best rally cars for cornering are front wheel drive Toyotas or something similar Japanese cars. In absolute, my opinion. Anyway, after doing a lot of examination and comparisons for the front end, because I want to try to refurbish this, and because I can get an engine for this for like $60 or $70 from Singapore, which is a VX18 engine, or Vertex engine, size 18 mil, whatever it is, and turn it back into what it was, but with a few slight modifications that you can't really tell. The shock tower here is plastic. On this particular model, the shock tower is actually aluminium anodized, and these tops, because these are hydraulic suspension, I've changed these out and put purple on it to match the front until I replace the front end. However, the servos seem to be intact. They don't seem to be damaged in any way. That also is a good indication. See that sticker on that servo? Try to get it out. There you go. A little bit better. Shows you the shape of the truck. They also call this a car, not just a truck. So this is actually a better setup for the front steering, but it's because of the weight of it and how much force is on it. You can see where the spindle is facing, or hub. and that's the knuckle there. But if you can look inside here, yeah, that's only plastic. It's called a buffer, so it gives a little bit, but in this case, it just more than just give it melted. And to fix that, that has to be replaced, probably with a metal one. There goes my light. So what I'm going to do, oh, the slight mod I'm talking about for the single phase suspension or shock is that I put one of those springs onto that, which works, and bounces straight back up. Before it didn't do that, it just stayed there. So it showed you how worn out some of these parts are. Got to remind you that this is, I think, polyurethane plastic, similar to what they use for mower wheels, old mower wheels. And it does not like sudden impact or jumping. It will just break or melt. And you can replace most of this with aluminium. I do plan on replacing half of it, that I will probably end up spray painting black. So for the steering, I figured out it's much more simpler than what's on here now. And this is just very, very heavy for the front end for this thing. So trying to put it like this is just going to cause it to basically disintegrate. So what I have done, I'll go to my eBay purchases, because this needs wheels, and I've been having a hard time trying to find the right size wheels for this. But as you can see, this is the lower arm, so it has basically a tie rod put into the it's screwed into that, which is something like this. If I can find one. It's like this. That has a metal bit. Goes into here. This, without any light. Anyway, this goes into here. This is for each side. So I've also had to buy, which if you look how much it costs $5 for those, because it's from China. And this is the upper ones. That also has one of each of these in them, that is bolted or screwed into the top of a hub, or if you want to call it spindle, but it's not really a spindle because it doesn't have the spindles are usually a hub that don't have CV joint or an axle going through it. Generally it's just plain Jane, so to speak. This is a front shock tower, 110 scale. Costs like $5 because it's from China. Not necessarily meaning it's bad quality, it's just because it's a HSP brand, and the parts are generally quite cheap if you're willing to shop around, because that same part could sell for $15 or more on eBay. So I don't know if that will fit. As I said, this is 13 years old, so it's getting hard to get parts for it. Just to replace the body, which I threw out, by the way, because it was mangled, which I now regret throwing out. Momentarily regret throwing out. They want $60 for a new one. That's not a replica, and they want $60 for that. So I just got some steering and throttle linkages, because ones on this one are pretty rusted up. I suppose I could clean them up, but hey, $5.50. So yeah, I'm just waiting for these parts to turn up in the mail. Probably take a couple of weeks to turn up. It says here the 7th, so maybe these were, where were they? So it says Clinton, South Australia. So they might not be in China, because there's a lot of eBay shops that say they're in Australia when they're actually in China. Or if they don't have it in stock in a warehouse in Australia, then they've got to send it over from China, and it takes 3 weeks to get here, when it's only supposed to take 5 or 6 days. So you get pissed with them, and you end up leaving them neutral feedback. That's what usually happens. I've only had to do that once, because it was 4 weeks later when they said they were in Sydney. So regular mail. Anyway, so I've been searching this because this actual model itself is called is 94155, and 94177 is also similar to this. I think a 94106 is electric. I do not like electrics whatsoever, because I like the smoke and the smell and the traditional way of trying to get. The problem with these is people have a hang up with these for one particular reason. And what is that reason? Simple. These do not have a fuel pump. Obviously, they're too small and would probably cost a lot of money to make and, do. Don't know about today. Anyway, the problem with these is that the fuel tank has 2 hoses. One on top goes to the exhaust, and the other one goes to the little carburetor. Now, the one for the exhaust, if you know anything about combustion engines, especially 2-strokes, the tank needs to pressurize. The same with whippersnippers. If the tank doesn't pressurize, then the gas can't be forced out. And I mean literally the fuel gas, petrol, whatever, cannot be forced out of the tank into the carburetor and into the engine. And these use plastic tanks with plastic lids or tops. And over a period of time, the heat from the exhaust warps the tank, including the lid, which will cause nothing to work whatsoever. You'll think it's electronic and all this type of stuff. You're baffled trying to figure out what's wrong, but that's all it is. The tank is out of shape, and the fuel tank can no longer pressurize, force the fuel out. So you have to replace either the lid or the whole thing. I am going to, when I do get some more parts for this, I am going to replace the fuel tank with a metal lid, so that it doesn't warp so easily, unless the tank itself warps. So that will help last much longer than maybe a couple of months of constant use. And so that's what I plan on doing with this. So this is part 1 with this little 110 scale. The 1/8 scale is about, I think, that much longer. The 1/5 scale uses actual whippersnipper motor, so it's like 35 cc's or 35 cc's. That doesn't sound right. 20 cc's or something, 25 cc's. So that's my plan with this. We'll see how it goes. Because I do obviously have other projects to do, as you can see. So thanks for watching.